Hey guys, so today we are going to review why Ethan Klein is actually suing Denims. Now, there are two lawsuits right now, potentially a third lawsuit against Casey Tron. It's Denims and Froggen. This one will only focus on Denims. TEI incorporates by reference the allegations contained in the preceding paragraphs of this complaint. This is the first claim for relief. TEI is the sole of the copyrights in Countdown episode in the Nuke. TEI registered its copyrights in the Countdown episode in the Nuke with the USCO. Denims accessed the Countdown episode from TEI's YouTube channel, H3 Podcast, and the Nuke from TEI's YouTube channel, h3h3 Productions. TEI did not grant any license, authorization, or consent for Denims to exploit the Countdown episode or the Nuke in any manner. Rather, Denims' group viewing session of the Countdown episode and the Nuke constituted an unauthorized reproduction, public performance, and derivative work of the Countdown episode and the Nuke in violation of TEI's rights as set forth in 17 USC. Due to Denims' act of copyright infringement, Denims obtained profits she would not have realized but for her infringement of TEI's copyrights in the Countdown episode and the Nuke. Denims' acts of copyright infringement were done with actual or constructive knowledge of TEI's rights, such that said acts of copyright infringement were willful, intentional, malicious, and or taken with reckless disregard for TEI rights. You can see this is already on page 77. The unique part of this complaint is just how long it is. It is almost 80 pages. Here is the second claim for relief: contributory copyright infringement against the h3 Snark Mods. TEI incorporates by reference the allegations contained in the preceding paragraphs of this complaint. The h3 Snark Mods and each of them new Denims group viewing session would infringe TEI's copyrights in the Countdown episode in the Nuke. The h3 Snark Mods and each of them are responsible for the first inducement post, second inducement post, and third inducement post. The first inducement post induced, caused, and or material contributed to Denims' infringement of the Countdown episode in the Nuke. Due to h3 Snark Mods' contributory infringement, TEI has suffered damage in an amount to be established at trial. The h3 Snark Mods' acts of contributory infringement were made with actual or constructive knowledge of TEI's rights, such that said act of contributory infringement were willful, intentional, malicious, and or taken with reckless disregard for TEI's rights. Prayer for relief: wherefore TEI prays for judgment against Denims and the h3 Snark Mods, collectively defendants, as follows: that TEI be awarded defendants and each of their profits plus TEI's losses attributed to defendants' infringement of the Countdown episode, the exact sum to be proven at the time of trial. That TEI be awarded defendants and each of their profits plus TEI's loss attributed to defendants' infringements of the Nuke, the exact sum to be proven at the time of trial. If elected, statutory damages in the amount of $150,000. TEI will be awarded its reasonable attorney fees and costs under 17 USC Section 505. TEI be awarded prejudgment interest as allowed by law, and TEI be awarded such further relief as the court deems proper. Jury trial demand: TEI demands a jury trial on all issues so triable pursuant to Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 38 and the 7th Amendment of the United States Constitution. That is, I assume, the law firm and the attorneys for the plaintiff, TED Entertainment. This thing, I wanted to go over this with you, and it is 80 pages. Depending on how you count the page, if you count the cover page, it's 80 pages. It's either 79 or 80, but that's not really the point. You guys probably don't really care about that. It is just too much to cover, unfortunately, in one video. There is a lot of very interesting things. And in addition, this is just the complaint. There are docket numbers. There's other things. This cost a lot. And when I mean a lot, I mean their lawyer could buy another home based on this lawsuit. This is a massive, massive amount of money that he is spending, that Ethan Klein has decided to spend, and there's no way that this doesn't go to trial or Ethan doesn't get his pint of blood because of just how much he's thrown in there. Now, two things that stand out is A, just how well written this is. This is a very well written lawsuit. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is the same attorney that had the great win. Remember, a long time ago, Ethan was considered, before this channel started doing legal stuff, we're still doing marketing at the time, Ethan was considered the champion of copyright. And he defended. In that case, he was the defendant. And that was a landmark case. That's a case that is currently still being cited today on basically any copyright cases, especially those involving video, and especially those on YouTube. So I believe this is the same lawyer. This lawyer is incredibly good. As we know from Billy Mitchell versus Carl Jobs, how good your lawyer is does make a huge difference. You know, in that particular case, I've always said that Carl Jobs' lawyer was not very good, and Billy Mitchell's lawyer was incredibly excellent. In fact, he's Queen's Counsel. They actually have, we don't have that in America, but in Australia they have like tiers of lawyers, right? And he's the top tier, while Carl Jobs' lawyer, I don't know how he found him, is not of that tier. It's not of the same ilk or the same level, if you will, of lawyers in Australia. I highly doubt the Denims will be able to fundraise a better lawyer than currently. I mean, this is probably the top. This is a lawyer who's very good. I look at this stuff. I look at the cases cited. There are some cases, even I've been practicing copyright law for over 10 years. There's some cases that I want to cite in the future. I built my copyright law firm this week, and this is actually a great lesson to me. I need to be on the plaintiff side of what cases to cite in the U.S. Now, again, they're out in California, so they have a lot of state things. But generally speaking, the federal ones that you were citing is very good. I mean, 80 pages of this. And this is what I want to do. I want to educate you guys. I think that's probably the most important part of this channel, is a lot of you may want to be content creators on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, wherever. I want to educate you from plaintiff side and then from defendant side. Like, I think especially on YouTube, there's not much education because not many people have been DMA. Very few legal channels, I assume, have been DMCA striked 7 times in the last 45 days. But that's my case, and I've been dealing with it. And hopefully by next Wednesday, this entire problem would have been solved with the Australian government. But that's not here. What I'm here to tell you is this is 80 pages of really well-written, very expensive. Ethan Klein is not messing around. I haven't looked at Froggen's lawsuit in great detail, but assuming that's also 80 pages or 50 pages or something like that, and then the fact that Casey Tron also has another lawsuit, I would suspect that, again, you need to get your money's worth from your lawyer. I do not suspect that Ethan will really want to settle with them, given how expensive it was for him to hire his lawyer to do this. Like I said, this was some of the best. This is one of the 2 best complaints I've seen from copyright law. And I took the classes in law school, so all you do is learn about cases and you read the things, and you know who's a good lawyer. So when I was covering Carl Jobs, I immediately knew that his lawyer was not very good, and I knew that would be a problem from him. And it was a serious, serious problem. And I knew immediately from how Billy Mitchell's lawyer wrote the things, how they presented in trial, that oh shit, and that was before I even knew Queen's Counsel existed. And you can go back and watch the videos. I was like, wow, there's like a vast ocean between these two in terms of level of legal competence. And I said that, oh, if there is a chance for Billy Mitchell to win, it is because, and back then everyone thought Carl would win, including Carl himself. It was because Billy Mitchell's lawyer has done a very good job explaining Billy Mitchell's case in a way that I didn't really think about that. And that's exactly what Ethan's lawyer is doing. They make Denims sound very bad in terms of. Now, Denims will hire her lawyer. I'm skeptical that this will be a good copyright attorney, given the fact that it is being fundraised. One of the reasons, especially with Carl Jobs, that I don't like fundraising money for legal defense is often you overpay for low quality lawyers. You don't spend the time looking for the best lawyer possible. You kind of just, hey, I have X amount of money, I'll put it in towards the most. In Carl Jobs' case, he also had Knotts, who's a Minecraft billionaire. And so he basically picked the most expensive law firm he could find. But the most expensive law firm you can find is not necessarily the best law firm. And often, as I found too, one of my clients, we hired the best law firm in Houston, a very expensive law firm. I could drop their name here, but they probably would sue me. And they were shit. They were garbage because they couldn't really put their time they needed on the case. They had too many bigger clients, and they would always tell us, oh, you're a small client. We're doing this as a favor for you. But after they took like $500,000 from us and they did it as a favor, and we said, get the hell out of here. Like sometimes it's better to have a smaller lawyer. And obviously I'm preaching to the choir because I'm a one-person law firm. Now we have two people working. One person working in social media, but maybe we'll have her shift to the copyright if we ever do get some business. And you can spend more time on it. We can spend more time talking and chatting. I don't have to bill you for every minute. We can actually have strategy discussions where you're not worried about, hey, am I going to get an invoice for $25,000 after this? No, we would just cover it in like a flat fee. So the one thing I wanted to do was kind of change how this whole system works by doing flat fees, which means this is how much money it costs. If the hours go over, it goes over. I will cover it on my end. I will eat those fees on my end and the lawyer side. I can tell you this dude is not doing flat fee. There's no way this dude wrote 80 pages for a complaint in the detail that he wrote. So that's number one, is if I were Denims or H3 Snark, I would be very afraid of this lawyer. This lawyer is top notch. This lawyer is, if we had Queen's Counsel in the US, this would be Queen's Counsel. And I think we're going to find that Denims' lawyer will probably not be that good based on my experience with the GoFundMes have been, when you GoFundMe for legal money, it's not a good sign. It's a sign that you cannot afford a lawyer yourself. So your choice of lawyer is being limited by how much money you can fundraise, right? That should be logical. The second thing is he really hates H3 Snark. H3 Snark did contact me, and they wrote me this email asking for essentially free legal advice. I never responded to them because I didn't really know what to respond to at the time. No, I have not interacted with them. There's no reason for me to help them, but also there's no reason for me to want for them to be sued, which currently they are being sued. I'm trying to look at H3 Snark right now and their email, because I think this will be relevant here. Oh, yes, H3 Snark mod team. Dear Tony, I hope this message finds you well. My name is blank. I'm not going to say the name, and I am moderator of H3 Snark. Our community values dialogue as we strive to ensure that our engagement with copyrighted materials remain respectful, legal, within the boundaries of fair use. So like here, this is what I would say is very interesting, because they did send me, a copyright lawyer, this email saying that they did want to make sure that copyright materials were respectful, legal, and fair use. However, as you are aware, we were recently been target of abusive DMCA claims. While I personally have experience working in legal and content clearance, the situation has pushed my legal knowledge to its limits. I'm reaching out to humbly request your insights and guidance on a draft of fair use clipping guidelines. So when was this? This was January 14th, 2025. And so I don't have any beef with h3h3. They were very kind. The email was very nice. And had I had more time, I just had a child. Let's see. So birthday is August. Okay, now I'm doing boring stuff. You guys can fast forward. September, October, November, December. So my child would have been 4 or 5 months old. And as you guys know, I take care of my child. I'm the primary caregiver of my child. And I take care of her maybe 18 hours a day, minimal 18 hours a day, including sleep time. So it's a little bit, that's when I make these videos when she's sleeping. So you can take a nap instead of, I used to make 10-minute videos, but now I can make 20-minute videos because she has a longer sleep cycle now, which is great for videos like this. Okay, back to my initial opinion. I didn't really think that h3 Snark were rude or arrogant, or again, they did shut down their subreddit. So this does really involve h3 Snark because of the promotion. I didn't know they did that, by the way. I am of the mindset that yes, they did actually make an attempt. So when you're talking about malicious, I don't know about that. And actually no, this email is really long. Holy moly! I completely forgot about this email. This email is really long. I could read the rest of it to you. Your expertise in IP law and fair use would be invaluable, ensuring our community operates in good legal standing. To me, that's good. That's good faith. We are very committed to educating our members and promoting responsible content sharing. Given your help, we hope to provide a resource that benefits not only our subreddit, but also serves as a broader guideline for similar platforms. Please see the relevant sections of our draft if you would like to review them. Either way, I greatly appreciate you taking the time. So they're very nice. I mean, I've never had an issue with them. And then here they have why we believe its use is fair, the short relevant clips, and they were finding out how to do this without being illegal. Maybe had I jumped in January, I could have told him, hey, don't send traffic to Denims or Froggen or any of these people because when shit hits a fan, they're not going to help you. You're going to stand on your own. Whatever you do, you stand on your own, especially in copyright. So just because somebody did something worse than you, like the idea that, oh, these free people are innocent because there are so many more guilty people out there. So like that's crazy. So if there are like 25 people copyright infringement, the reason that you literally cannot sue all of them is you don't have the money. Right, so you go after these free because they're crowdfunding, and you actually know Denims previously crowdfunded money before to attempt to sue Ethan. So that one, Denims is going to crowdfund, and Froggen's going to crowdfund, and Caseytron's going to crowdfund. These are easy slam dunk wins. Like I said, there is no way they can crowdfund a lawyer of the caliber of Ethan's lawyer right now. They're going to get destroyed. This is 80 pages of this is 80 pages where I, a copyright attorney of over 10 years, am impressed. How are they going to beat this guy? Anyway, let me know what you guys think. If you guys enjoyed this content, you want us to keep going on this, give it a thumbs up. 100 likes on this video, we keep going. Guys.